We are live.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. It is 2:50 p.m. in the afternoon, and this is the Coastal Permit Administrator hearing for May 26, 2022. We are opening up the meeting again due to a technical difficulty earlier in that the links to the Zoom meeting had expired, therefore not allowing for all of the public to be heard during the item that was continued this morning, which was item CDP 2021-005. So in essence, before the meeting adjourned at 2:14, because of lack of public comment or the inability, and the CPA was not aware of this until after the meeting had closed and the project was approved, but I'm going to go ahead and reopen the meeting and basically take public comment before I make the final decision. So at this point, we are going to rehear case CDP 2021-0050. Owner is Heritage House, applicant is Sherwood Design Engineers, agent is Wind Coastal Planning and Biology. Request is a standard coastal development permit request to upgrade and install new septic system. System will include improvements to collection system, installation of new treatment system, and installation of subsurface strip disposal system. It has been determined that a mitigated negative declaration has been prepared for the project. The project is located in the coastal zone 1.3 plus minus miles north of Albion Town Center on the east and west sides of State Route 1, 0.1 plus minus miles south of the intersection with Frog Pond Road, located at State Route 1, Little River. And the assessor's parcel numbers are 121-130-10, 13, 14, 33, 34. Assessor's parcel number 123-010-18, 31, 32, and 33. And can staff provide a very brief overview of the project?
Yes, as indicated, this is for an upgrade, the septic system for the Heritage House. Initial study has been prepared, mitigated negative declaration has been suggested for adoption. Project is consistent with the goals and policies of the local coastal program. Findings have been made for this project. Comments of concern from the Coastal Commission have been addressed and a new condition has been added to the project. Memos were prepared that are addressing changes that the applicant would have liked to have revised. Those have been addressed. As I said, additionally, the condition for the Coastal Commission concern has been made. An attachment for noise limit standards has been attached to the staff report, and we did receive one comment of concern from the public from Mr. McLean, who is on the line right now, and staff did recommend approval of the project with the adopted mitigated negative declaration.
All right, thank you. And again, I'm going to go ahead and ask the project applicant's representative, Ms. Wynn, to basically give you your opportunity again to speak.
Thank you, CPA Gonzalez and Mark Kleiser. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on this item again. And hello to the McLeans. I'm sorry that technology didn't allow you to participate earlier. To the staff memos, we do support the final memo as written, so we are pleased with that. And to the McLean's concern, I'd like to take this opportunity to read the response from the project engineer, principal engineer rather, project manager, Karina Chen, and she also is on the line from Sherwood Design Engineers and can address any concerns as well. But first, I'm just going to take the slow moment to read this paragraph, if you don't mind. So regarding the leach field on the McLean's property near the wastewater treatment plant and the existing leach field, regarding the McLean's well and the proximity of the existing leach field on the Heritage House property. So from Ms. Chen, The leach field near 33931 Frog Pond Road is currently being used for the wastewater system as one of the disposal areas for septic tank effluent from the hotel. The proposed improvements will not only reduce the flows of wastewater to the leach fields, but also improve the water quality of the wastewater being disposed of. Once the proposed wastewater system is installed, the wastewater will be treated through an advanced treatment system, including trickling filters, multimedia filters, and UV disinfection before being discharged anywhere on site. Also, a majority of the wastewater will be returned across the highway to be disposed of via subsurface drip irrigation, where the leach fields will only be utilized during rain events and maintenance as needed. Therefore, any potential impacts to the well on the neighbor's property will be decreased significantly with the proposed improvements. We understand your concerns about water quality. We do not believe that increased testing is merited because of the decreased use of the leach field and improved water quality after the system is installed. And so this is my own words, Amy is speaking again. So after a little bit more conversation with Karina in the last couple of days, I've additionally learned that the leach field up top, essentially will only be used, need to be used in times of emergency. Let's say if for some reason power goes out, which does happen from time to time, and there's not sufficient storage, or the storage of the treated wastewater will need to be released somewhere. It could be released into that leach field up top. But effectively, what will happen to that leach field that's been existing since, I believe, the 80s, is that it will probably dry up and it will only receive treated wastewater very infrequently. So I think that if there, I believe that there's no concern with the existing well right now on the water quality. It will certainly improve through this system. And again, Karina Chen can speak to that more specifically if need be. And we're available for continued comments. Karina, do you want to add anything to that, to what I've said?
Yeah, so basically,
Can you identify yourself for the record?
I'm Karina Chen with Sherwood Design Engineers, and the leach fields will not be used unless there is an emergency situation. So basically, they will become, they're not going to be used most of the year. There may be occasions when there may be excess rainfall, like we don't anticipate, multiple rain events in sequence that we can't accommodate the wastewater and through the subsurface drip disposal, then we would have to dispose of to the leach fields. But yeah, basically those leach fields are gonna go, they're gonna go out of commission for regular wastewater disposal.
One question, are this leach field, this alternative site, we're looking at we're not gonna be using these, and you're saying not used most of the year, but they're not gonna be used unless there's an emergency. Otherwise, they're not used, correct?
Correct.
It just seems a little, when you're saying most of the year, I just need clarification. They're not going to be used unless an emergency.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And again, I might have some further questions. All right, thank you. Anybody else from the design team that wishes to speak on this matter?
This is Amy. I'd like to add something else that I learned from Karina the other day. Thank you.
Go right ahead.
Thank you, CPA Gonzalez. Amy Wynn, Coastal Planning and Biology. Additionally, the wastewater treatment plant system includes holding tanks so that there's quite a bit of room for the treated wastewater to be held before it actually gets released down to the drip fields on the western side of the highway, and similarly in case of emergency into the leach field up top, which might need to come into play in terms of emergency. But there is a fair amount of holding tank available up there for the treated wastewater. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and open the public hearing. Anybody that wishes to speak on this matter may do so at this point. Mr. McLean, you have your hand raised, go right ahead.
Hi, this is John McLean, 33931 Frog Pond Road in Little River, California. Mike, and I appreciate it. Sounds like you guys are doing incredible work on this. My concern was, I know there's an existing plant leach field at the top at the maintenance yard, but I was referring, and that's never been a problem for us, which is great, even though I know there were some issues with the septic system previously. My question was regarding the leach field that's parallel to Frog Pond Road. If you look at, I think it's page 27. I know at one point, because we bought our property from Heritage House, I know at one point there was a leach field there, but it was supposedly dismantled. I'm trying to understand if this is a new leach field or if this is an existing leach field that's been in use for the last 27 years we've owned our house.
This is Karina Chen with Sherwood, and we are not installing new leach fields systems. What we are doing is, if we can still keep a leach field in place to provide emergency disposal, we are keeping it. We are going to check to make sure that they're operating correctly, have somebody come out and retrofit it as needed, and then we are keeping them as emergency backup only. There are no new leach fields. We are only disposing of subsurface strip on the hotel side of the property.
Right. Now, do you know if that leach field that parallels Frog Pond Road is active at this point? Because there's nothing but trees on the Heritage House properties. I'm not sure if this is even an active leach field.
So
that leach field is currently active.
I'm trying to figure out which one we're looking at.
If you look at page 27 at the diagram, it's like 7 o'clock to the approximate location of the well. That's a bunch of dots, three rows of dotted lines that parallel Frog Pond Road.
And I can share my screen if anybody wishes.
I
Go
thought
ahead, Amy.
isn't that the one that is within the proximity to the well?
Correct.
Yes.
And it's active though, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, that's currently active.
Okay, because I had no idea there was a leach field that far west of the maintenance yard. So I guess if it's active and we haven't had a problem, I don't have a problem. I didn't realize there was a leach field down by Frog Pond Road. I knew there was one up by the maintenance building, like 29 up in that area.
Yeah, and those are being decommissioned.
Okay, but whatever's on those three rows of dotted lines, that's not increasing. It's not.
No.
Okay, and it is active today.
It is active today.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Well, they've been good neighbors. I've never didn't even realize there was a leach field there. I knew there was one up the top. Okay. Cool.
So
Well, thank you very much for reopening this, and thank you for addressing my concerns.
You're welcome. And again, just for clarification, again, for the record, the leach field that we're talking about is only to be used in the event of an emergency.
Correct.
All right.
Excellent.
Okay.
Hopefully there won't
Mr.
be too many
McLean,
of those.
have all your questions been answered?
They have, and again, thank you so much for reopening this and giving me the opportunity to address my concerns. And
Thank you.
that's
It's
I really, really appreciate it, and I apologize for taking people's time to do this.
No, that's all right. I just want to make sure that everybody's heard and that all the questions have been answered, and we're covering, all the bases here so that, the public is not left with concerns or questions.
Yeah, thank you again.
Thank you. All right, so do we have anybody else that wishes to speak on this matter? Seeing none, I'm going to bring it back to the CPA, and I will ask Amy Nguyen, is there any other closing comments that you or your design team would like to make?
Amy Nguyen, Coastal Planning and Biology, CPA Gonzalez and Mark Kleiser and county staff, and Mr. McLean, thank you so much. I do appreciate giving Mr. McLean the opportunity to ask his detailed questions and for us to be able to address his concerns. We are grateful with the entire team in being able to address that today so that we can mobilize to work to rectify the wastewater system on the property this summer. So grateful. Thank you very much. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. So I'm going to bring it back to the CPA, and I will go ahead and approve your project, CDP 2021-0050, based on the revised findings, including the finding that further finding that changes to the conditions of approval and mitigation measures will not result in any potentially significant impacts to the environment pursuant to California Code of Regulations 15074.1 as contained in the CEQA statutes. And based on the memorandum update memo number 2, which outlines the revisions to conditions 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 31, 34, 35, and 36. Most of it is clarification of language and addressing noise concerns. And with that, your project is approved. And again, there is a 10-day appeal period on this, but again, I just wanted to go ahead and make sure that everybody understands that. Basically, persons who are dissatisfied with the decision of the Coastal Permit Administrator may appeal the action to the Board of Supervisors. An appeal must be made in writing along with the applicable fee to the clerk of the board within 10 days of the Coastal Permit Administrator decision. The appeal issue will be placed on the next available Board of Supervisors agenda for consideration, and the appellant will be notified of the time and date. Appeals to the Board of Supervisors do not necessarily guarantee that the Coastal Permit Administrator's decision will be overturned. In some cases, the Board of Supervisors may not have the legal authority to overturn the decision of the administrator. So again, project's approved. With that, we move to item number 4, matters from staff. Do we have any matters from staff? None? Matters from the public. The Coastal Permit Administrator welcomes participation in meetings. This item is limited to matters under the jurisdiction of the CPA, which are not on the posted agenda, and items which have not already been considered by the Coastal Permit Administrator. No action will be taken. Okay, seeing none, I move to item number 6, which is adjournment. And so the meeting is adjourned at 3:08 p.m. Thank you very much.